fits miles better. I don't know if you guys remember when I put this car together originally, like 2 months ago, I had an issue with the Cobb bypass valve smacking the intake manifold. Now it's no fault of Cobb. It's just due to the fact that it's a Cosworth intake manifold. And for the Cobb one, you've got this 2-bolt flange, and the 2-bolt flange goes onto the pipe. And even cutting it down and welding it, it was just still smacking it. So the obvious solution in my mind was go to a more compact blow-off valve solution versus a bypass valve, at least with the Cobb stuff, because the Cobb, I already threw it away. It's got that flange, and it's just so difficult to try to fit something with a Cosworth manifold on there. It just runs right into it. And with the 07 STI getting tuned this week, I wanted to get that on there now before the tune, because obviously that is going to have a slight change on how the car is going to operate. But you guys can see, look at that clearance, man. I can fit that's like 2 fingers worth. 2 fingers worth of clearance right there. And my welding on aluminum, while still not perfect, is way better. I tried the pulse setting that I have on my Vulcan, and it tended to clean things up a lot better. I also took some good amount of time to clean that aluminum as much as possible, just to make sure that I could get the cleanest weld. It still kicks my ass, but you know what? I'm not gonna get any better without trying to learn myself and go about doing it and keep practicing. So, you know, it gets better every single time, and at the end of the day, that's all that really matters. The 07 goes to paint very soon. It gets tuned this week. There's still some minor things I want to do to the car here and there, but you know, I'll probably still do them. I'm probably still gonna do them anyways, because the goal for today and tomorrow is to wrap up all my little projects. I got in a really dope hood for the 17 STI at the house. We're gonna go get that slapped on that car, but fitting a hood on that car isn't as easy as you might think. There's gonna be a lot of cutting involved to make a different hood fit. So let's grab what we need, some Dremel accessories. Let's jet over to the house and let's go start putting this hood on this car, because it's gonna be an interesting time trying to make it fit. Yo, you guys gotta hear this. Let me get up into light. Actually, hang on. Oh, blow-off valves are fun, man. Blow-off valves are fun. That's weird too, because that's I think it was a 14 PSI spring I put. That might be like 10. I don't know what PSI that was. It said on the chart it was 14. Either way, that's a fun noise. Oh. A lot of people have always asked me over time, like, what hood is this? This is just a factory hood with APR hood vents, some aero catch latches, and a Veris scoop delete or scoop block off plate right there. And this hood has done us wonders for a long time. There are, what do? We do need to take these aero catch latches off this hood, but we can do that once the hood's off the car. We got a pretty dope hood from WRX Daily that him and I have been talking about for, realistically, I think it's been like 6-7 months since this initially came up. I haven't even opened the box yet to look at it, so we're gonna get this thing on. Like I said, there is a lot of trimming and cutting that we are gonna do to this hood to make it fit on that car, because hoods don't easily go on this thing. See, with the engine swap in this car, with how far out this intercooler piping comes right here, we do need to do some trimming up here. We are going to have to cut out some spots for the aero catch latches, but that should really only be the trimming that I think we have to do. I mean, we'll find out once we get the new hood on. So let's go ahead, let's unbox that thing real quick, because I want to see what that thing looked like. Okay. All right, come here. There's just so much. Come out. This is freaking sick. Bring it up. Oh yeah, we're gonna have to do some trimming up there. I actually love how all of the vents have rain traps on them, and they're removable rain traps. Because on most vented hoods, you don't have rain traps. And I'll show you guys that once we get the hood on the car, but that's actually really cool to see that there's rain traps on here. So sweet, let's actually start off by getting the old hood off the car. Let me go grab Melanie to help us pull it off, because that is definitely a two-person task. Now, before we get tossing on that beautiful hood that we just got, we need to talk about today's video partner, our guys over at Techron. So we're talking about their complete fuel system cleaner. I literally use this stuff in all the cars. So we're gonna toss the bottle in the 07 STI. With this car going to the dyno this week, that gives me enough time to run through one more tank of fuel. And with this car sitting for a long time, it doesn't hurt to clean out the fuel system one more time. Let me see if I can do this one-handed, because I don't think I can. Pushed. Oh, yes. That I'm not gonna be able to do one-handed. Am I? Oh, I did it. I did it one-handed. Look at me. So one of these bottles will treat up to 20 gallons of fuel. Super easy to use, like you guys saw. Pop the cap off, dump it in. Make sure you do have a full tank of fuel. That is something that you do want to make sure that you do have when doing this. Now, a complete fuel system cleaner is going to do for us, and I need to put this in, I need to put a bottle of this to the 911 because I do have a problem with the fuel system in the 911 where the fuel level sensor gets stuck. But what this is going to do is, if you feel like your car has lost some miles per gallon or is down on a little bit of horsepower, it could be due to a dirty fuel system. You guys know I have a barrel of E85 over there. You guys know I run E85 through a lot of the cars. Every time I swap from E85 over to pump gas, I will throw this in because that stuff is very corrosive and it can cause some damage over time. So whenever I swap over to pump gas, I will use this in addition to using pump gas to clean out the car. Now, if your car only runs on pump gas, what this is going to do for you is clean out any deposits, gunk, anything that might be gumming up your fuel system. Another nice thing, because we push the cars typically kind of hard, this can help prevent spark plug fouling, which if you're a Subaru owner like myself, which I feel like most of us are, doing spark plugs on these cars isn't necessarily a fun time. We do it anyways, but it's not necessarily a fun time. So huge shout out to our partners over at Techron, partnering with us on yet again another video. They've been a partner of ours for years and they've done absolutely wonders. There will be a link down below for you guys about more information on Techron fuel system cleaners. You can pick it up at pretty much any of your local auto parts stores, as well as Walmart and a couple other places. I actually need to, speaking of which, I need to throw a bottle of that in this car because this car's been sitting for like 2 years. I gotta drain the fuel tank and toss them in there. Anyways, let's get back to tossing our pretty new hood on the STI because it's gonna look très magnifique. Leaving this one up against the wall. Why do we even use a hood? What do we need a hood for? Okay. I just want to get these threaded in a little bit first, and then I'll come over there and do that side. The hood supports. There we go. Okay, so we should be able to let go. Yo, this thing looks wild and I love it. So I am fairly certain it is a clone of the VRS hood, which is, I have no problem with it. I don't care. It looks good, it's functional, it gets the job done, and it fits surprisingly well. Couple things with this. One thing that I genuinely really like is actually how it has the water traps. It actually has water traps for a carbon vented hood, so that way when it rains or you wash your car, you don't get a ton of water that goes down into the engine. And they're removable, so in the summertime, if you want to take them off, there's just a handful of Allen head bolts or Allen head screws that just hold it on. You can take them off as well. Because of this intercooler pipe, a lot of this needs to get cut off. And I hate cutting carbon fiber, fiberglass stuff. It's just not a good time. On top of that, once we actually get the hood to close down to where it needs to, we need to drill some holes and cut some holes for these arrow catch hood pins because we're cutting off the entire latch portion. And with removing the latch portion, we don't have a way to obviously bolt the hood down. So I say let's just start off. Let's cut off this area here. Let's get the hood to actually close where it needs to. Once we get the hood to close, then we can kind of put some like grease or something on the top of these pins, close the hood onto the pins and see where we need to drill through the hood and start getting the hood pins to fit up. Like right there. So this is what we've cut so far, and I can already tell you we're gonna have to cut a little bit more. But the problem right now is we are running into our hood pins right down there. and right down there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a little bit of like moly grease or something on the tip of these hood pins, so that way when the hood comes down, we know where we need to drill the holes onto this hood, so that way we can have our hood pins go all the way through and our arrow catch pins catch them to be able to lock this hood down. You can use anything, you use toothpaste if you want. I just happen to have moly grease sitting around, so should transfer those marks over onto the hood, which it has. Beautiful. Oh, I think the hood pins are actually, oh no, I see where we're hitting. After a lot of back and forth and a lot of trimming, we finally have the hood in a spot where it is relatively happy. Now for the weird part is we've got to try to do the hood pins, which it's not going to be a fun time if we're being honest. So if I pop this guy up, you guys will see I had to cut a little bit more out than I initially had planned, but you know, it's all right. We've got our hole here for one hood pin. I'll probably open these up a little bit more, and we can also slide our hands through here to be able to hold the backing plate for the hood latches when we go to install them. So we got to cut the holes for it. So I'm going to go ahead and lay some masking tape down in these general areas, and then I'm going to grab a knife and just kind of cut out these circles so I can use the hood pin to line up where we need to trace around it, and then kind of cut it out from there, because I just need to make sure that the hood pin is in line with where I want it on the hood and everything like that. So let's get this thing masked up, holes cut out, and kind of figure out where we're putting the pins themselves, because this part is it's a little bit scary if we're being honest. This is the part of the whole process where if you mess up, you're out of hood. So kind of want to be a little bit cautious here. I'm just gonna put a whole bunch of masking tape in this area. There's also a body line right here that I kind of want to try to keep the hood pin following, but we'll see. To be honest, I really could have put the hood pin anywhere I wanted since we swapped hoods, but I didn't think about that till now. Tape down, we can go ahead and kind of do that number, figure out where that's gonna go, and then trace around the inside of the bottom portion, because that's where the cut's gonna be. Where's that body line? Okay, yeah, we're following the body line, so we want to be about right there. Hey, look at that. So, before drilling any holes where we want this, we're gonna go ahead and latch it into the hood. So right there is where it's latched. Let's see if I can start like some of these. I hate putting hood pins in, man. It's not a fun time. If we're being honest, it's not a fun mod, but it's a necessary one. I need to do it to the 07 also. So for these pins, I've got them loose right now. There's a 17 on the top and then another 17 on the bottom. So I'm gonna go ahead and kind of get it where the hood is comfortable. If I need to raise it up, I can. So I'm actually gonna bring this rubber stop up a little bit more. And I can go ahead and spin this either way that I need to be able to get it to the right height. But this way I can get the pin in a comfortable spot. Like this one needs to come up. Bring this down. Fender gap, fender gap. So the whole point of doing it this way is so that way I can actually lock these down in a position where it's all comfortable versus trying to force it, because the last thing we want to do is force where this is going. I want it to be in a relaxed position. See, now it doesn't want to go in. Perfect. Now I can just clean this side back up. So let me get the headlight and the bumper toss back on, and let's get it outside and see what it looks like. Super happy with how the hood came out. I was doing some photos with the 17 and the 07, but honestly, fitment is, I mean, it's par for the course for carbon fiber. Let me tell you that. No, I need to make a couple more adjustments to this side, but that just means it ain't going anywhere. So like with anything that's carbon fiber, it's never going to fit 100% like OEM. As you guys can see here, there are some gaps that run up between the hood and the fender. It's pretty normal for carbon. Up here, this isn't the fault of the hood. Ever since I did the 18 plus front bumper conversion and I swapped the fenders with new ones, I've always had a weird gap right here, so that's no fault of the hood either. And then we just have an extra large, I don't want to say extra large, but we have a larger than OEM gap. My Cybon hood on the 07 is very similar as to where the gap is a lot more open, especially on one side versus the other, but that could also be an alignment issue on my end. But don't ever expect carbon to fit 100% like OEM, especially when you start doing this where you got to cut it up a whole bunch. And I'm not stressed about leaving this car in the rain anymore with water getting into the hood. The only thing that kind of stresses me out now is with the fender exit, but I have a plug for that. I don't know why I don't have it in right now. Personally, I love how this looks, and this actually is more functional than having a hood with a scoop on it, because all the air is going to go up through the front mount intercooler, and then it's going to come out of these when we don't have the rain guards on there. When we have the rain guards on there, obviously it's not going to do that, but we will still get some airflow up through the back side here. With the scoops, if you have a front mount intercooler and you don't block off the scoop, what happens is it creates like an air pressure pocket. I think it's a high pressure pocket underneath of the hood, and it doesn't allow full circulation. When you go front mount, if you want the most efficiency possible, it's not going to hurt anything if you keep the hood scoop there, obviously, but if you want the most efficiency possible, you want air to go in through the front bumper and then out through the hood. So this looks great, especially with the fact that we have a carbon shrunk as well. I think it ties everything together really, really nicely. I'm still adding small stuff here and there to this car, but overall, I am super happy with that hood. I've always just been so cheap that I could never justify getting a carbon fiber hood, mainly because I had my stock one that had carbon fiber vents on it. So this, super happy with it. And the other thing, like I said, I need to do it to this hood also. If you're running carbon fiber, it's a really smart idea to have hood pins. The single latch in the middle, if you guys look at this hood here, it moves a decent amount from left to right, only, especially right there, you guys. It moves a decent amount when not having hood pins. So I need to add hood pins to that car also, but we'll do that in the future. So that's all I got for you guys on this one. Super happy with how the hood came out. Huge shout out to WRX Daily for sending that over. Like I said, that MSP brand is his own brand, so I'll link that hood down below for anybody else who may be looking for one. But honestly, super happy with it. It's a Varis replica. If you don't like replicas, but then buy the Varis one. That's all I can tell you. It doesn't bother me having a rep hood or rep something on my car. If it's cheaper and it saves money and it's just as good quality, personally, I have no issue with it. So next set of videos, next 3 videos we're all gonna be tuning videos. We're gonna start out tuning the 2007 STI, then I think the 17 STI, it's gonna be weather-based because I don't wanna drive the 17 STI down there in the rain. It's gonna be 07, either 911 or 17, and then it's gonna be whatever one we don't do. So after that series of tuning videos, straight RX7 videos for quite a while, you guys. So I hope you guys are all on board for the RX7 stuff. We're gonna be taking the cars out racing as well, but for build stuff, it's primarily only gonna be RX7 stuff unless we're doing little things to the other cars. Then I'll probably do an install video or just like a vlog style video of that stuff. But dude, I love it. I love the hood. I just can't stop looking at it. So with that, that's all I got for you guys on this one. I'm dipping out. If you like the video, you know what to do. Go to hit that like button, turn it black, blue, green, yellow, purple, silver, side, and whatever color it turns for you. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel and you want to be able to put it in one of these corners, no idea which one cut yet. But with that, I'll catch you guys in the next one. So peace out, homies.